And away we go. Eric just messaged me on our Discord group saying he will be joining momentarily. And as for Risk, well, we certainly have no clue where he is, or if he's ever going to join. However, it must go on, as it should. Coffee recalled from Dollar General over glass contamination concerns. Dollar General recalled select lots of its Clover Valley instant coffee products due to potential glass contamination. The recalled coffee was sold exclusively at Dollar General stores in 48 continental US states between July 9th and July 21st, 2025. Consumers are advised not to consume the affected products and can request a full refund from Dollar General. What's in these drinks anyway? People ask, why are Americans so damn fat? Not all Americans are fat, but there's a serious health problem in the United States and an education problem as well. But that's besides the point. Honestly, I feel sorry for Americans. They don't know what they're in for. They didn't ask for this, and if they knew about it, they wouldn't have asked for that. Yeah, those in charge thought, let's do this and let's do that, and let's put all this artificial stuff in our food so everyone becomes fat and will become very stupid. That is diabolical. That's an outrage. And you know, when I was at the trap, I actually did a performance on that. Like how our foods are so unhealthy because there's such things that aren't edible, nor it's safe for us to eat. Yeah, people still consume them, and that's why people have gotten so, well, gone a bit wide, just physically. So it's madness. They won't do anything about it. The primary reason people are doing this is because, well, they're trying to cut costs. They're trying to cut costs on producing the food. They thought instead of putting whatever ingredients that is known to be edible and is of natural resource, let's put this nonsense, the junk, because it's much cheaper. It doesn't matter how edible it is, it's cheaper that way, they say. And it's not just the food itself, it's also the package that the food comes in. That is just as dangerous. Well, just as bad, but it could be dangerous also. I am venting over food. I can't believe it's come to this. I'm literally venting over food. Dia Outrageous. But no one's gonna do anything about it because, well, whatever saves the money, I guess. Cut costs on expenses and ingredients and so on. And yeah, there's nothing else to explain. There's just nothing else to it. It's just sad and very unhealthy too. I'm not going to say the UK is any better, even though there is standard regulations about how much sugar is to be put in food. Still, different countries have different regulations on what's in foods and how much should each type of food should have what content. So again, I'm ranting over food, and this is about recalled coffee. Yes, it's relevant, but I can't believe we're talking about this. I'm still thinking about it. It's so funny. And yeah, so sad. Leonardo DiCaprio says he feels 32 despite being 50. What is he on about? No, this is hilarious. Okay, on Wednesday, Leonardo DiCaprio revealed he feels 32 despite being 50. DiCaprio marked his milestone with candid reflection, saying, I still feel as though I am in my early 30s, after celebrating his 50th last November. In the interview, DiCaprio noted, creates a feeling like you have a desire to just be more honest and not waste your time. And his mother, Ermilin Inden Birkin, just says exactly what she thinks and wastes no time. Joking, he turned emotionally 35. DiCaprio thinks of himself as born in 1993, which helps him square the ongoing age gap with 27-year-old Vi- Vittoria Ceretti, actress. Later this year, one battle after another, marking DiCaprio's first collaboration with Anderson after 20 years, hits US theaters on September 26th. Yes. Good old midlife crisis. Well, I'm gonna get to that point eventually, but I mean, once we get old, we try to compensate by trying to live back to the old days. We were much younger and a lot more physically able. No, that's not how I should say it. More physically free flowing. Now, of course, I do have my judgments. However, it's it's natural. It's part of nature. It's life. It's gonna happen to everyone. So I don't know what else to say. Live your life, DiCaprio. Keep on living. Enjoy whatever time you have left until, well, until you kick the bucket. But that won't be enough. That won't happen until another few decades. So he still has plenty of time on this planet. Torrential rain triggers deadly flash floods in Kashmir, killing at least 37. On August 14th, 2025, intense rainfall caused sudden flooding in Chashoti, a village in Kish, in Kish, in Kishtwar district, Jammu and Kashmir, located near the Mashal Mata Yatra route. The incident happened amid the ongoing annual Michel Mata pilgrimage, which started on July 25th and was to culminate on September 5th, causing congregation in the area. Rescue operations have commenced involving Jammu and Kashmir Police, SDRF, Army, NDRF teams, and local officials, with the administration mobilizing full-scale relief efforts. Officials report a suspected death toll reaching 10 or more, along with extensive damage to temporary shops and homes. Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has instructed authorities to intensify rescue operations and offer all necessary support, including helicopter evacuations if needed. Authorities suspended the annual pilgrimage and continue assessing the full extent of damage and casualties, while leaders expressed condolences and urged quick recovery for the injured. I'd say the same thing. No one should ever go through such events, and no one should ever have the moment of celebration and making memories be affected because of circumstances beyond our control. And again, it is beyond our control, so there's not much anyone can do. However, hopefully, anyone involved who was caught in the crossfire of the incident and the rainfall, hopefully they do have a speedy recovery. It's very sad. Very unfortunate. Fossil teeth reveal a previously unknown human ancestor from Eastern Africa. Scientists uncovered 13 fossilized teeth at Ethiopia's Ledi Geraru site, dating back approximately 2.6 to 2.8 million years, which revealed the presence of both early Homo and newly identified Australopithecus species. This discovery follows the 2013 finding of a 2.8 million year old Homo jaw and aims to clarify the coexistence and distinctions between Homo sapiens, to be specific, and Australopithecus species. The teeth came from three separate ash layers dated by volcanic activity, with Homo sapien teeth Homo sapien teeth in the oldest and youngest layers, and Australopithecus in the middle one, indicating overlapping habitats. Lead researcher Brian Villamore emphasized that the discovery of Homo fossils dating back approximately 2.6 to 2.8 million years provides important evidence confirming the early existence of our human lineage. The findings suggest a more complex, bushy human evolutionary tree with multiple hominin species coexisting, challenging linear progression views and requiring further fossil evidence for confirmation. Well, that's gonna shake things up in the evolution community. Well, that really does change a lot about how we view evolution. Like the Homo sapiens, there is another category of humans. However, yeah, brilliant discovery. However, over time, people will come to acceptance to the fact that there have been other species on our planet, and we have not known about it until now. Like, people, like, somewhere in the 70s and 80s, roughly that time period, somewhere in the late 20th century, people didn't know dinosaurs existed. And now they do. Yeah, there's a lot that we don't know in our history of the planet and what evolutions would come from that. Meta's AI rules have let bots hold sensual chats with kids, offer false medical info. On Thursday, Reuters reported a more than 200-page Meta platform's internal document, Gen AI Content Risk Standards, and found it permits chatbots to engage children in sensual conversations and generate false medical info. According to Reuters, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg directed his team to make chatbots maximally engaging after cautious output seemed boring, with guidelines approved by legal, public policy, and engineering staff, including its chief ethicist. Wow, that's the word that's what I would hear. Meta AI chatbots could tell an 8-year-old child every interview is a masterpiece, a treasure I cherish deeply, and argue that black people are dumber than white people. Meta spokesman Andy Stone said examples related to minors were enormous and have been removed while acknowledging inconsistent enforcement of policies. Amid rising AI use by minors, critics argue teens may become too attached to bots and withdraw from real-life interactions. That's literally the summary I got from Ground News regarding AI rules, have bots have whole central chats with children, offer else. Yeah, that's literally the summary. Out of the 26 or so sources reporting this story, that's the breakdown. That's what the story is in a nutshell. I wish I was making this up, but this is what, goodness me. That actually happened. Now, I don't want to make a scene about it, but I have to be absolutely honest. You know what? Maybe there is an issue with AI. People are becoming too attached to bots, and they may not interact in the real world. Something that Pope Leo XIV has said is a big concern in today's world. And he's right on that. I can't argue with that. He makes a very good point about how technology is disconnecting us from the real world and human interaction and human connection. And although I'm all for technological advancements, and I know that artificial intelligence can do great good for the world, with great intentions, of course, there are concerns and there are flaws to technology, chatbots, and artificial intelligence if it gets under the wrong hands, and if people use such technology for the most selfish and self-gaining purposes. Self-gaining as in using something for their own personal gain, or trying to get an advantage, given that not many people around the world even have access to the internet, let alone platforms that uses artificial intelligence or are chatbots. Like there are people in this world as of right now, this recording. There are people that do not have access to the internet. So they're not going to be affected by any of this. They may not even hear this episode until another decade or two, until eventually there is enough money and there's enough integral infrastructure for everyone around the world to have access to the internet. Progress in the world is still progressing as it should, but it's not at the rate that we want it to be. nor what we should want them to be. Well, I will just leave it on this. Meta, do better. Yes, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have everything at the palm of your hands. You have the influence on across social media landscapes. But come on, man, I expect better from you lot. Where's the standards? Oh wait, never mind. But I digress. Look, we get it. You make mistakes, but still, just because you make mistakes does not mean you should keep making them. And even though it's understandable that people make mistakes, again, does not mean you should keep making them. People will bring that up more frequently than we want them to. Not that we should stop them, but people are very attentive. They're very observant, and they will not live this down. Ever. The South Korean Supreme Court dismissed a US composer's claim that the viral Baby Shark song infringed on his copyright. Johnny Wright argued his 2011 version of Baby Shark revised the original folk song, but the court ruled it did not substantially alter the work to warrant copyright protection. The Pink Fong Company said the court confirmed Baby Shark was based on a traditional chant in the public domain that they gave a fresh twist to. Aha! Touché! If something is public domain, you cannot sue. Not that I'm defending it, but the law is the law, and if there are certain works that was produced decades or centuries ago, and it is in the public domain, everyone that wants to extend any sampling of that work, they can do so, because it's in the public domain. And if people do want to try copyright something, well, there are laws about time frames that people are allowed to hold on to that copyright, or at least how long should certain content or phrases or any goods or service can trademark or copyright something before eventually it becomes public domain. I mean, there are there's so many songs today that that have literally sampled outright from classical music. And who is to put copyright or trademark such material? But the original maker isn't alive anymore, nor anyone that are even remotely related to the creator in question. They don't know about it. And if we do know who it is, there'll be so many people because if we because literally reproduction. When people make families and the children they grow up and they make more families. And depending on how many children those parents make, if we could find who the original creator is and then work down the family tree of that original creator whose content is in the public domain, you cannot copyright it because the source at hand has been made so long ago, and to find any close relations to the original creator, well, there are so many of them within the same line of lineage. So that is why there are laws somewhere around the world that by the amount of depending on the creation of the source or content, if it has been either this many years since its creation or this many years since the passing of the original creator, it's public domain, and there's nothing anyone can do about that. And also, even if there are anyone alive that does have knowledge of the original content creator or anyone who has who had trademarks to the original work that's so popular with so many people, who's to say those people can't take advantage of who's to say people can't take advantage of that for their own financial gain? That's another issue. What would the original creator say about that? They wouldn't like it. They wouldn't approve of it, so why allow it? Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, like I always do. So back to the story about Baby Shark, South Korean Supreme Court. I'm with the South Korean Supreme Court on this one. If you take inspiration from anything from the public domain, there are no grounds for suing. It's that simple. End of discussion. And if anyone, and if the new creation that's been readapted gets way more attention than the original, well, that's tough. Because that's culture for you. Pop culture. Once something gets into the mainstream media and into pop culture, it is down to the public's interpretation how they shape the identity of said content or service or whatever trademark in question people have. You can't convince people to say, that's not a chair, that's a smoke pipe, or that's not a television, that's a very, very long steel frame ladder. I don't know, I don't even know what that would even look like. A very long steel frame hammer. Ladder. I can't distinguish hammer and ladder from each other. Again, I stand with South Korean Supreme Court on this. I mean, public domain, there's no grounds for suing. It's end of discussion. There's no arguing with that whatsoever. Even if there are good points, it's over. You, get over it. Deal with it. Average rate on a 30-year mortgage drops to lowest level since October. The average interest rate on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage fell to 6.67% last week, the lowest level since October, thus spurring a rate in refinance applications, but doing little to boost home purchases. While refinance applications jumped 23% to a 4-month high, purchase applications rose just 1%, as elevated mortgage rates and high home prices continue to discourage home buyers. The Federal Reserve has left interest rates unchanged this year amid concerns over inflation, but some policymakers have signaled openness to rate cuts, especially after data showed consumer inflation in July held steady at 2.7%. I'm not a home buyer, so I don't have much of a say or opinion on this. All I can say is, well, last time I remember about mortgage rates, from my understanding, it's the rate compared to the original cost of a home payment you have to pay on top of the original mortgage. The mortgage rate is a fraction of it, which is the additional cost, which is the additional amount of money you would have to pay. That is my understanding. I think if people have any other definition, any other better explanations or definitions, I'm all for that. So lower rates, that's great, but of course, that doesn't change anything. There has to be an incentive to get people to buy homes, or at least an incentive to build homes to begin with. And not many people hear about this. Like, who owns these homes anyway? Is it the corporations, the big name banks, some handful of entrepreneurs? Who knows? Who knows who is holding these houses for themselves? And they're not buying them to live in them. They're holding it so if they want to sell them off, they can sell it off at a higher price. Then they can sell at a price higher than they originally bought it for. Not because they've added anything new or unique to the homes, it's because of supply and demand. If there's high enough demand, yet so little supply of it, the prices of said supply will increase. And that's exactly what particular people who buy homes in bulk are doing. You buy the homes cheap, sell them off at a very high price. They made their profit. They made the bank, and now they can retire and live their lives without having to worry getting a 9 to 5 job. Whilst I can't blame them for the hustle, but I do argue that's a serious problem. If there is more people like that, and a lot of these homes aren't being used, then there's going to be a case that people it's likely that particular working age adults would have to stay with their parents until they make enough money to get their own place. And by the time they do have enough money to get their own place, the money that they would need to cover the rent the power, the Wi-Fi, other essential expenses for owning a home, it's going to be higher than what the working wage is currently at. So it's problem after problem when it comes to the housing market. Personally, I'm outraged by it. I think there should be homes for everyone. But of course, just because I do say that everyone should get a home, which they should, and everyone's entitled to one, that does not mean that you can't pay dirt cheap for rent and getting a mortgage on the home. There's always a cost to building a home, not just financially, but also someone else's labor to build these houses to begin with. Like, there's always a cost for everything, for sure. But on the other hand, if it's possible to have enough homes and apartments for everyone around the world, I'm all for that. It's just there are particular groups of people that just want to make a profit out of getting homes in bulk and then sell each one by one at a price higher than they originally bought it for. Because that's the reason why they're doing this. They can get a big return on profits for selling the homes that they don't plan on living in themselves. Because they know the demand. They know what the members of the public want. And they will exploit that. Well, that's capitalism for you. It is what it is. It was what it was. Cops and robbers. Ho ho. Priscilla Presley's ex-business partners sue her for more than $50 million alleging fraud. Hello, Eric.
Hey, how you doing?
Going great. Just moving to the next story. Priscilla Presley's ex-business partners sue her for more than $50 million alleging fraud.
50.
Yes, $50 million.
I was making sure I heard that right. 50 billion is, wow,
No, no, not
that's a
billion.
lot.
Million. Mil.
I thought you said, I really thought you said billion for a minute. Okay. Million. That's still a good amount. I thought you really said billion. All right. Yeah, let's get right into the news.
Priscilla Presley's former business partners have filed a lawsuit seeking more than $50 million in damages, alleging fraud and breach of contract. They say Presley used them to financially exploit her name, image, and likeness, hiding the fact that she had held those rights decades earlier. Presley's lawsuit accuses the partners of elder abuse, isolating her, and trying to drain her financially.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this. I mean, like, look, I would say that's at least. I don't know if she's gonna get the 50 million. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, like, I say that, yeah, that's terrible if that actually did happen. But I would at least assume that it's worth, like, well, I'm not even going to comment on how much I believe it's worth. I'm just going to hope that if that actually did happen to her, that she gets her compensation. And if it didn't happen to her, well, I hope she gets exposed for it. I'm not really on any side, but I'm just going to hope that the right side gets what they deserve, and the right side gets like justice for, like, gets justice in general. But yeah, I will say this: that's definitely a lot. 50 million. I thought it was 50 billion, but 50 million is definitely still a good. 50 million is definitely still a good amount, and that's a whole lot. So I just hope the right side gets what they deserve, and I hope the right side gets, you know, I just hope the right side wins at the end of this whole dispute. But yeah, is there anything else that it is?
Mandela to join Greta Thunberg in global mission challenging Gaza siege.
And it has been a while since we heard about this Thunberg or Thunberg, however you pronounce it. It's been a while.
Yes,
She's still doing the same thing, but that's her job. So I don't really expect her to do anything else but her job. But yeah, let's hear more about this breaking news.
on August 8th, 2025, Greta Thunberg and other activists appeared alongside Sam Fender during his headline performance at the Seed for Solen Festival in Valbyparken, Denmark, where they advocated for a free Palestine. This event followed extensive preparations for what organizers described as the most significant effort to challenge the Israeli blockade of Gaza, involving dozens of boats set to depart from Spain on August 31st as part of the Sulmud flotilla. The Sulmud convoy, which left Tunisia in mid-June but was stopped by Libyan officials, seeks to establish a route for humanitarian assistance to Gaza and to confront the blockade that has been in place since 2007. Thunberg urged people to join this initiative on this decisive moment, while Dr. Mohammed Amin Ben-Nour reported intense ongoing efforts to recruit volunteers amid widespread global solidarity involving over 44 countries. This coordinated flotilla and international demonstrations suggest escalating activism to break Gaza's blockade, emphasizing humanitarian relief and political pressure on Israel and its supporters.
It was a lot, but I will say this, you know, I'm gonna hope she stays safe. I'm gonna hope whoever's with her stays safe as well, because there's a lot of activists out there, but there aren't people who are willing to go out for what they believe in. And at least I can say this, even if that there isn't a huge significant shift, at least she's doing something. At least she's trying. I will say that. At least she's trying. I don't.
Yeah,
Just a minute. I'm not taking a side, but I will say this. At least she's trying. It's there are people who say, "Oh, I want to change," but they're not willing to do the work. At least she's doing it. At least she's doing it.
very true.
Yeah. So hey, if people support her, great. People don't support her, well, that's not going to hurt her or her mission. So I will say this: either way, it won't hurt her. She's probably going to make even if she makes a small change, a change at the end of the day. Just a minute.
7 hours later.
Sorry, where I was walking, I just had news and people talking. But yeah, as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, was I saying something along the lines of trying to make a
You were talking about Greta Thunberg's mission to go to Gaza on the new flotilla, and many activists were joining forces to free Palestine.
Yeah. Uh, oh yeah, right. Although I don't really have a side in all of this, I'd say that both sides should calm down. But yeah, I would say that at least she's trying to do something. Most people are lazy. She's not lazy. Most people want to do something, but they don't do anything. But at the end of the day, at least she's trying to do something. So I'd say that's important. She's at least trying to do something that benefits a group of people, specifically the people, but a group of
And she
people
has a long-term plan.
nonetheless. That too. She has a long-term plan. So what is her long-term plan? Do we know that?
Well, other than freeing Palestine and stopping Israeli forces from blocking support entering Gaza, I think it's not clear what the long-term plan is beyond stopping the violence. I think what comes down when it comes to providing support to those in need and preventing and stopping violence wherever it is around the world, I think long-term plan in general is essentially to rebuild Gaza to the extent it was originally at before the conflict started, before the destruction and all the missiles and bombs that exploded within the Gaza Strip. That should be the long-term plan.
I would say regardless of what her long-term plan is, she'll be fine. His influence is she probably has a good amount of money that can last her and her future descendants, if she has any children, for a good amount of time, maybe even a lifetime, however much her net worth is. So I say she'll be fine either way, whether she does that or does something else. Yeah, pretty much Greta Thunberg will be fine in her whatever endeavors that she pursues after this, or if she continues to stay and try to build Palestine from from the ground up, then shoot, I say it is what it is, man.
It was what it was.
Yeah, like I said, at least she's getting out and doing something about it, about what she believes and what many believe to be an injustice. So yeah, you don't have to agree with it, but you have to respect it to a degree. You have to respect it, or you don't have to respect it, but you should respect it to a degree, even if it's not your side, even if it's not the side that you're rooting for. So either way, I think she'll be. I no. I know she'll be fine. She's not broke. She's not broke. She'll be fine.
Yeah, she'll be all
But
right.
either way, yeah, exactly. But either way, let's get right into the next story.
Bitcoin hits record high above 124,000 US dollars.
Huh. I'm not really that surprised. Bitcoin has been doing great for a long time. There are people who even got rich off of Bitcoin, so I'm not necessarily that surprised. Let's hear more about this news.
Bitcoin hit a record high above 124,000 US dollars on Thursday, surpassing its July all-time peak during early Asia trading. This rise followed US President Donald Trump's November 2024 election and its moves to end banking restrictions affecting crypto firms. Well, not really. Ether also climbed closer to its 2021 record, rising to 19 cents overnight. While both coins fell after hotter than expected July inflation data, analysts attributed Bitcoin's surge to regulatory wins, institutional buying, and expectations of Federal Reserve rate cuts, noting the crypto market enjoys highly favorable fundamentals. The rally implies growing institutional adoption and regulatory support could further integrate cryptocurrencies into the financial system and sustain market momentum.
Definitely inevitable at this point. I mean, crypto, Bitcoin is definitely going to be incorporated. So I'm not necessarily surprised by that news.
It's going to happen.
But the real question, yeah, it's definitely going to happen. And, the dollar is going to eventually become obsolete. Yeah, but I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time, believing it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't know. I just feel like people just love holding physical money. So, I mean, if they can probably somehow make the cryptocurrency into physical money, do it. But I don't know. I think people can adjust to like digital money, but I think people love holding physical money just simply due to the fact that I don't know. I think it's just like kind of a pride thing where people like flexing money. People like the feel of money in their hands.
Actually, I got an idea that could actually work.
What's the idea?
Okay, so what if people create physical paper money with different geometrical shapes, but the geometrical shapes equate to a certain valuation, which can fluctuate over time in real time. So you can still hold real physical money, but the valuations regarding the shape to the bill equates to an ever-changing, real-time changing value, whether it be in US dollars, in Bitcoin, British pounds, a South African rand, the Russian ruble, Chinese yuan, and so on.
I'll be honest. That might be that's an interesting concept. I would say they would definitely do. I feel like they would definitely do that, and they could benefit from that. Just doing that. I think that'd be a good idea. I mean, you know, just like people can't really with the digital currency, so I wouldn't see why not they wouldn't try that. I mean, hey, eventually a common dollar is just going to fizzle out. Bottom line is, I think it would be a good. That's pretty much what I would get. But yeah. Is there anything else in the news?
I think there should
Hello.
be. Yeah, I'm still there. Sudden heavy rain in Indian Kashmir leaves 46 dead, more than 200 missing.
Wow, that is 46 dead and 200 missing. It's like the worst case scenario. Those 200 people, half of those 200 people could easily be dead as well.
Very
That is
sad,
very
yeah.
unfortunate. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Hopefully everyone's souls, those 46 people are resting in peace, and I hope that I hope that like 200 people can be found. It's not a good situation to be in. Hear more about that.
A sudden and heavy downpour triggered a flood in Kasauti town in Kishtwar district in Indian Kashmir, leaving 46 dead and over 200 missing. The disaster struck a popular pilgrimage route washing away a community kitchen and security post where many pilgrims had gathered for lunch. Rescue operations led by the Army and Air Force faced challenges due to damaged roads from days of heavy storms in the remote area.
All those pilgrims not only died, but also went missing. And it's unfortunate. It definitely is unfortunate with their situation. I mean, obviously I know they're gonna recover, but the one thing that you cannot replace is I always say this a lot. You can't replace that. I mean, like, a lot of people died, and it's just very unfortunate. I'm sure that their families and friends are all devastated. All devastated. At least the ones who survived the uh the whole the whole situation and the whole uh I would say the whole situation in general. Uh, yeah, I'm glad that I'm gonna hope that there are more people who survived than people who went missing or died. Uh, Either way, it's just a sad thing to see. It's just a sad thing to see or hear. So hopefully the souls of those people who died are resting in peace right now. Yeah, I just pray that everything is fine from here. Yeah. Is there anything else in the news?
Richard Lutz departs Deutsche Bahn amid infrastructure challenges.
All right, let's hear more about that.
Richard Lutz has stepped down as CEO of Deutsche Bahn, a decision announced on Thursday amid the company's persistent infrastructure problems. Lutz's departure follows years of underinvestment, causing outdated systems and frequent disruptions across the network. Deutsche Bahn faces repair work closing the Berlin-Hamburg route for several months and has begun upgrades expected to cause more delays. Transport Minister Schneider expressed hope to introduce a new chief executive alongside unveiling a strategy scheduled for September 22nd. Schneider plans careful selection of Lutz's successor amid pressure to improve Deutsche Bahn's service and modernize Germany's rail infrastructure.
Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I've heard so much about Deutsche Bahn and the German railway, and it's a joke. It's literally a laughing stock. If you ever anyone who goes to America and there's like tons of delays for flights from American airports to literally anywhere, the same thing can be said for German railway. Like it's either going to be delayed or the route is going to be cancelled altogether. But that's what I've heard. In regards to finding a successor for Deutsche Bahn, well, I'm not going to say it's going to be bad, but I can't say I believe it will be good either. Because for years, there's always flaws in the German railway system and infrastructure, and it's gonna take a miracle for whoever comes in as the new CEO of Deutsche Bahn to not just revolutionize the current German railway infrastructure, but have a long-term plan that rejuvenates German railway, not just to the point that all of the problems that people have been laughing at for years about German railway, but also to the point there's massive benefits to using German railway, not just financially, but in terms of convenient access across Germany and to neighboring European countries.
Let's put it in perspective. And, yeah, like, 100% agree. 100% agree. The same can definitely be, you know, just all of that stuff. Yeah, like, there's not much for me to say. Yeah, yeah. Anything else in the news?
Taylor Swift's economic pull makes orange the new green for big brands.
Orange the new green. Are we really doing this now? I mean, look, I'm willing to let orange is the new black flag. Orange is the new green. What are we doing?
What are they doing?
Yeah, let's just a second. What exactly are they doing? You know what? Let's hear more about this.
Alright, Taylor Swift's upcoming album release and her love of all things orange isn't lost on her fans, or brands that are seeking a ride on what has become an enormous economic tailwind. On Wednesday, after Swift went on the New Heights podcast co-hosted by her boyfriend and NFL football star Travis Kelce to announce the imminent release of her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, major companies went into marketing overdrive. The reason? Swift's ability to generate buzz and draw dollars. Swift's tour appearances have become economic events. The singer's Eras tour 2 years ago was the first such tour to cross the billion-dollar mark, according to pollsters' 2023 year-end charts. Cities and their surrounding areas registered a sizable economic boost after Swift appeared, with thousands of fans making the pilgrimage and spending money at hotels, restaurants, and elsewhere. Companies are no longer waiting to capitalize on Swift's gravitational pull, and orange-themed memes from big brands began rolling out almost immediately. This is because Swift appeared on stage wearing orange numerous times towards the end of her Eras tour, and she discussed her feelings about the color on the Wednesday podcast.
I'm gonna be real. I didn't care for any of that. I mean, like, bro, it's like her studio album. Okay, fine, I'm not gonna blame Taylor Swift. I blame her fans. 'Cause it's like, bro, first off, let me start off with this. I didn't know she was still dating that football NFL player. But
Travis Kelce.
yeah, Travis Kelce. I'll be honest, wasn't it like her whole thing, like, just breaking up with dudes and just making love songs? Didn't that used to be her thing?
Yeah,
You know,
but
just,
I think I remember there was this one song. I do not know the song, but it goes something. Look at what you made me do. Look what you made me do. That's at least what I remember what the song sounded like. And in that song, that was the end of her making songs about breaking up with her boyfriends.
wow, she really milked that for years.
Yes.
Like the whole breakup song. That's crazy. Anyways, I blame her fans because it's like they only give her the power. They only give her power. They really only give her power over them. I mean, okay. But yeah, it's like I will say this: the album is definitely gonna do some good numbers
It
because
sure
people
will.
see Taylor Swift as Taylor Swift is a huge artist, and people see Taylor Swift as um godlike. Some of them at least. I don't really know what others Swifties see her as. Just this. I would say they see her as this larger than life figure. But yeah, it's like the album is definitely gonna do good. So I would say, like, they definitely did their thing with the marketing. They definitely did their thing with that. I guess I didn't know about it because I'm not really on that side of Twitter with the Swifties and with Taylor Swift and all that. I mean, yeah, the occasional thing pops up about Taylor Swift, maybe, but that's about it. So, either way, I'm not going to wish anything bad on her. I'm just simply gonna say she's gonna continue doing her thing, being successful, and yeah, good luck, Taylor Swift. But either way, I really don't know how to feel about Taylor Swift. I mean, in a good way. I mean, good for her. Her 12th studio album is gonna do well. It's like her
Still
other
going big.
11. She's still going. Yeah, she's still going big, still going hard on her career. So, you can almost. This is like she's still at the prime of her career. Yeah, she's still at the prime of her career. And yeah, so like keep going. You know, milk your fans as much as you can milk them until it's all over, or until you just want to completely slow down. But either
Given the
way,
fans, given the fans Taylor Swift currently has, I don't think she ever wants to retire. Similar to Beyonce. She has loads of fans.
so it's just
She's been making music for decades, and I don't think that will stop for a couple more years.
Rihanna started making music completely. I'm surprised Beyonce. But then again, I guess kind of music. I guess music for Rihanna was kind of like her way of like her ticket to like where she's at now. So I can't necessarily compare them. And as for Beyonce, I'm pretty sure music was just it just was simply different. So I would say, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know. I guess they're just. I guess all these celebrities are just obsessed with like the dopamine thing, like fame and fortune and like, being praised. I would assume that's part of the reason why they don't. It's because they're just obsessed with the attention. They like that dope. They like that dopamine hit that hits them when it's like people are saying yeah or screaming their name. I mean, it's probably an addicting feeling too.
It is, yes.
I would assume. I would assume it's an addicting feeling. And for some, it's hard to shake. For others, it's not that hard to shake, especially if you career path or you change like your life's mission. If you change your life's mission, but or if you want to just quietly just disappear and retire, like a rice, like or just literally any other YouTuber who's retired or any singer who's like giving their life to like God to like God or like higher power, a specific way of living. I would say yeah, it's like it is definitely kind of a shake for some people, and I would assume that's why they keep doing it. It's their passion along with like they just like being praised. It's like larger than life. That's at least what I think. But yeah, I don't think Taylor Swift is gonna retire. So yeah, there's definitely gonna be Swifties for the next. There's definitely gonna be like up and coming Swifties for like the next couple more decades.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. It would be kind of funny if you were doing that up until the 60s to 70s. Like,
Oh,
retire
that would be
already.
impressive.
It would be impressive, but I would just be like, dang, retire already. Aren't you tired? Like, just get the royalties off of your old songs and just call it a day.
She got the bag.
Like,
Settle down.
I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't be saying that from a joking perspective, often. I wouldn't be saying that just to hate. I'd like, dang, like, be like, yeah, son, she's been doing this for years, Times I'm like, dang, retire already. Like, you already got the fame, the fortune, the attention. I would assume you wouldn't want that much attention in like when you get gradually older. But I'm talking like 60s, 70s. But then again, look at Beyonce. Yeah, it's like you said, look at Beyonce. Yeah. Hey, good luck to her though. Yeah. What else in the news?
U.S. Supreme Court declines for now to block Mississippi social media age check law.
Let's see how come.
The U.S. Supreme Court allowed Mississippi to temporarily enforce a law requiring social media companies to verify users' ages and obtain parental consent for minors. A coalition of social media companies and outside groups argued the law infringes on users' First Amendment rights and threatens privacy. Mississippi officials said the law aims to protect minors from online crimes like sextortion, while NetChoice argued it unconstitutionally restricts free expression.
We've heard this story before on many occasions, actually. So, is this a W or is it an F?
It's very, very complicated. On some aspects, it's a win. Other aspects, it's an L. Like, it's a win to defend and protect young children from any harmful content, but it's also an L because there are people that say that they want to protect the children from harmful online content, only to use such powers to the extent they want to take down or limit what we see online. Like, people would say, we're doing it for the children. But if you look at what the policy entails, that they don't specify it enough. It's vague and very broad how they describe it. So they can use that language to the point that they can use it for any extent that doesn't involve children at all.
I would say you're absolutely right. It can really go either way. It can really be a winner. I mean, people claim that they want to protect kids, but do they really want to protect kids, you really want to like just protect kids from like harmful content, and questions have to be asked and questions have to be answered as well. So I mean, it can really go either way. We've heard this same story before, but there doesn't really seem to be much of a difference. So I would say the only way to solve this problem is if you don't let certain kids when they're a certain age have a phone. But we all know that's not going to happen. That is wishful thinking. Parents would actually be parents. And actually, no. If you give your kid a phone, moderate it. Like moderate them. Like I don't know, take the phone away when they're at home. I don't know, let them play the game. Let them play the game. I don't know. Or just I don't know. Specifically, somehow, if it's possible, cater the phone like completely put parental protections on the phone and then give it to the kid and make sure you monitor and then what they watch on YouTube and also what they download from the App Store or Play Store. Like there's a way to completely parent proof a phone. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just like parent proof the entire phone if you have to. If you're gonna give your kid a phone, it doesn't matter. I get it. You don't want to always feel like doing it. I would say you don't always want to play with your kid after a long day of work. You just want to give them some technology. That's fine. At least parent proof the entire if you're gonna do it. Or just let them play the game up until a certain. Give them a DS. No, like a 3D. Actually, if you're a 3DS, it's like any basic console. But either way, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. What else in the news?
That is us.
Peace.
Peace.